Today, we are chatting with Parker, who was a guest on the BiggerPockets Money Podcast, episode 367. And as we were chatting with him, he casually mentioned that he makes about $5,000 a year signing up for bank accounts and getting bonuses. For a couple of hours, you just paid for your car insurance for the year, or maybe you paid your mortgage payment for a month or 3 months. This is pretty low effort money. And I was like, what? We have to talk about that. So I brought Parker back to talk all about this. Parker, welcome back to the BiggerPockets Money channel.
It's good to be here.
So Parker, how did you get started in all of this?
Yeah, so I got started, opening credit cards for sign-up bonuses. And then I kind of stumbled upon this whole other community that basically does the same thing, but for opening bank accounts. So the gist of it is, banks want you as a customer, so they provide incentives for you to open an account. Sometimes there are requirements you have to fill, like completing a direct deposit or maintaining a certain amount of money in that account for a certain time period, and other restrictions. And in return, they'll pay you $1, $2, $3, $4, even $500. I kind of started off slow in 2020 and made about $2,000 doing it. And this year I made $4,900 across 15 bank accounts. I kind of ramped it up this year to see how far I could go. Yeah, that's how I got into it.
So, okay, you made $4,900 across 15 bank accounts. Do you have all of those bank accounts open still?
Some of them are, some of them are not. It makes things really confusing, especially like tracking my cash and stuff like that. Some accounts, you have to keep them open for, 6 months or so, or else they'll charge you a termination fee. Some accounts you can close right away. Some accounts you have to, maintain a certain balance or complete transactions, or they'll charge you a monthly service fee. If you're going to do this, my advice is to be really detail oriented and make sure you keep track of these things, because, if you're getting a bonus, but then they're charging you $12 a month to keep the account open, and then you forget to close it and it gets overdrawn and then you get sent to collections. I mean, it's a huge pain to deal with all that. So I'm kind of a nerd. I'm into this stuff. So I actually find it kind of fun to do this kind of stuff, but for other people, it's a huge nightmare.
Well, you are speaking to the same people. We've got quite the audience of nerds here. We are all nerds and we all love spreadsheets and we all love all of this stuff. So how do you keep track of all of this? Because it sounds like it would be a complete nightmare to try and keep track of 15 bank accounts in your head with all each bank doesn't have the exact same requirements, right? It's 15 different sets of requirements, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, I didn't do them all at once, right? So I'm usually probably working on only one or two at a time. I just have a simple spreadsheet where I track my progress and if the account's still open and stuff like that. And then once the account's closed, and I can kind of wipe my hands of it and delete it. And, some accounts I keep open. SoFi paid me like $500, I think. And I kept the account open because they're paying me 3.75% in my savings right now, which is one of the best. So, some of these banks, they paid me to be a customer, and I kept them. It's not about taking advantage of the banks. These banks are trying to attract you as a customer, and you don't have to close the account right away if you like it. So that's another takeaway for sure.
Oh, I like that. I think that it would be very easy to manage, as somebody who's never done this before. Let me give you all this advice. I think it would be very easy to manage with a spreadsheet, like you say, and calendar notes. I mean, who doesn't have a calendar now? Just put it on there. Okay, on June 15th, I need to close this bank account. And then when it pops up on June 15th, you just go and close the account, or you review it. Maybe that's a better way to phrase it. On June 15th, I need to review if I want to keep this account open, because SoFi paid you $500. What's the most that you've been paid?
Yeah, about five or 600 is the highest. There's also savings bonuses as well, where you can get even higher if you deposit, say 15 or 25,000 and maintain it for a certain amount. There's also investment account bonuses, like if you move your whole stock portfolio over to Schwab or TD Ameritrade, they'll pay you a certain amount of money. I don't have enough assets for me to qualify for those types of bonuses at this point, but if you have a large investment portfolio and you want to move platforms, they might throw you, even a couple $1,000s if you have a large amount of assets.
They did that with us when we moved our account. We were going to open up a margin loan, so we moved everything to Interactive Brokers. Then we decided we didn't really like that account. We wanted to move everything back to E-Trade, and E-Trade said, we'll give you some money if you do that. I think it was $2,000 or $2,500, but that's 40 years of investing. I'm a little older than you. So how long does it take to set up the account? Do you have to physically go into a bank? I mean, I know SoFi, you don't have to because they're everything online, but...
It depends. Some are in branch, some you can open online. I try to focus on the ones you can open online because they're a lot easier, but if it's a good bonus, I'll go and branch. Yeah, it depends on what's worth it to you. There are some people who will do a bonus for just $50 or $100 because they need the money, or they're into it, or they feel like that's worth it to them. If it's in branch, I try to only do it if it's like $300 or more, just because of the time it takes. And if it's online or easy to do, I'll only do bonuses that are like $200 or more, or maybe $100 if it's super easy or has no requirements. So it's kind of like you can take it as far as you want to. You could just do a couple bonuses a year and make $1,500, and it'll only take a couple hours of your time. Or I've probably put in 20 or 30 hours this year, and I've made $5,000. So. And there are other people who made even more. So
yeah, think of your expenses, like $1,500. Maybe that's your car insurance for the year. For a couple of hours, you just paid for your car insurance for the year. Or maybe you paid your mortgage payment for a month or 3 months, or, whatever. I think this is awesome. Now, this is not sweet tax-free money, but this is pretty low effort money. You do pay taxes on this money.
Yeah, I filed my own taxes last year when I did it, and each bank will send you a 1099, or you can input your bank's tax ID yourself and put it into your tax software. So you don't have to pay taxes on it, and it's going to go right to the top line of your income. So for me, that's like 22%. Make sure you save for taxes and make sure you file them, because they're going to send that 1099 to the IRS as well. It's going to be a big hassle if you don't. So
yes, well, you should always pay all the taxes you owe, because that's the way that it works in society. So besides the taxes, are there any other downsides to this?
Most of these bank accounts will do a soft pull or no pull on your credit. So in terms of your credit or other financial risk, there's not much, but some will do a hard pull. So watch out for that when you're applying for accounts. They might do a hard pull on your credit, which could be a bad thing if you don't need a hard pull on your credit at that time, or you don't want one. So be careful for that. If you aren't careful, if your bank account balance goes negative and you forget about the account, or you're not on top of things, they could send it to collections, or it could cost you money. So that's my biggest advice, is to stay on top of things if you're going to do this.
It sounds like there's a good product in the making out there for somebody to create to keep track of all your bonuses. I mean, you could just do this on a spreadsheet, but there's a lot of products out there that are just based on spreadsheets. Parker, this was so awesome. I really appreciate you sharing this with us. The upsides really seem to outweigh the downsides by quite a bit, as long as you are detail-oriented and you remember to either close out your account or keep the amount in there that you need, so you're not being charged these little bitty fees that always seem to bite away at your benefits. Thank you so much, Parker.
Thanks, Mindy.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more tips on managing your finances. From the BiggerPockets Money channel, this is Mindy Jensen signing off.